Welcome in, guys. Everybody good?
Absolutely.
We're great.
Yeah.
Great. Glad to be here.
So are you guys good buddies?
Yeah, pretty good buddies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're very good.
That helps. I mean, when you're buddies with the quarterback, if you won't get some grabs, right?
Yeah, that was super strategic for me.
Yeah, it
No,
was.
really, no, he's a good dude, so it wasn't too tough.
So when Luke walked up, he was like, it is Whitney Houston. It's not even close. She's the greatest of all time. So if I asked you this, I don't personally like the guy. I think I'm probably in the minority. I don't like Travis Kelce. I think he's probably the best tight end ever. Elijah said, is it in the moment? It might be. I mean, Antonio Gates was a complete stud. Tony Gonzalez was a stud. But if I had to ask you, I mean, playing the position, who was the greatest tight end of all time?
Gronk.
Okay.
Not even close.
I was going to say.
I can't. I
Not
left
even
Gronk
close,
out.
though.
Even mention
left him
Gronk.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was about to say, you
Gronk
left him out. I mean, it's hard to do what he did for so long.
And he was beat up the entire time.
Beat up because he was so physical.
Yeah.
I mean, Kelsey's incredible. Don't get me wrong, but that's a completely different style of game. Gronk is the guy that can go down and catch a seam route for 40 yards, and then the next play pancake a 280-pound defensive end.
And carry three guys
right.
6-7 yards after the catch.
Exactly.
What percentage of plays was Luke open when he comes back to the huddle?
Luke's a very unselfish player, so
That's
he's,
right.
he's
So-
an easy pass catcher to play with because he's not coming back and being Mr. Hey, I'm telling
God, I
you,
was
I'm
wide
telling you, I was
open.
open on that one. So
There's enough guys out there to do that for the rest of us.
Exactly.
I'll
That's
tell
right.
you what,
That's a receiver's deal, right?
Yeah, the receivers room.
yeah.
So, Payton, you grew up in a football family. So, let me get this straight. Your dad and grandfather were head coach and offensive coordinator for 13 years together?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe a couple more years. I don't know, but that sounds.
Do you? I mean, what do you remember most about that? I mean, obviously, when just playing the game, you guys spend a ton of time doing it, but these coaches even spend more time. What do you remember growing up around that kind of structure?
It was awesome, first off. I think it was a huge advantage for me in my athletic journey. And then also just being around the game for that long and having not one but two of my role models that, were in the game. And it was interesting. My grandfather was a high school coach before I was born for many years, and he's in the Illinois Hall of Fame and won a bunch of state championships, and my dad played for him. And then when I was born, I think that next year he took over at North Central College, which was a Division III school. And so getting to see the Division III aspect my whole life, it was really interesting because, like you said, in Division III you're wearing like three different hats. You don't have an assistant quarterback coach and an assistant this, and equipment manager and all that stuff. So my dad and my grandpa, they spent a ton of time there. And, I got to see the dedication, the hard work. And
Were they making meals and washing uniforms and things? I mean,
no, they weren't washing uniforms, but, I think my dad for a little while, like he was passing out equipment to the guys, and he was the offensive coordinator. And so, just getting to see all that unfold, it was really interesting. And then when my grandpa retired, my dad took over as head coach. And so, I was around that place my whole life.
I remember I had still a good friend of mine's a high school coach, and like he goes and lines the field on Thursday night. And I was like, man, one day you can get to college and not do that. He goes, oh, I would miss it. I love going and lining off the field.
Yeah.
Like, I guess there's something about it on those coaches, even though it's maybe not the big time. Those things, though, they love doing it.
Yeah, my dad and my grandfather, just enjoyed being able to influence guys and being able to make an impact on young men's lives. And I know that's why they did it, and they love football too. But, I'm thankful for getting to grow up and see the impact that they had on young men and the amount of people that spoke to me about how valuable and how, my grandfather and my dad changed their life. It's pretty cool to see that. And as a young kid, that sets a trajectory of what, you'd expect to accomplish in your life. And so really thankful for them. And like you said, some of that stuff's fun.
Yeah.
last time I was at Jordan-Hare was the Georgia game this year, and you tried to pull your best Lamar Jackson. I forgot what the yardage was. Pretty incredible against that defense.
Yeah.
But so to me, you can easily make the argument, not only the best atmosphere in the SEC, but in all of college football. But outside of Auburn home games, where do you like to play on the road?
We have this debate all the time. Certain guys will say certain places are louder than others, and but I have my list. For me, the loudest that I've ever been in, aside from Jordan-Hare, is the Swamp. And they broke an attendance record for us in 2019. I'm one of the few people that remember that off this team. There's not many of us left. So that was definitely the loudest. Penn State was fun atmosphere, pretty loud. Each week is different. Obviously, you have places that you enjoy playing, places that are like really hostile that are pretty cool, but you really don't like going there.
What about Vanderbilt? You hear that? Beep, beep.
I mean, you had
Nothing but construction.
I'm glad
Elijah's
left.
gone.
Oh, yeah, he's gone.
He transferred
He's gone.
in
We're
here.
good.
It's not like he transferred to Vanderbilt.
Oh no, we joke on him all the time about it. Yeah, no, but it would be cool if they ever got it finished. I feel like.
I mean,
got some fan.
with SEC money, you would think that Vanderbilt could do some cool stuff with that downtown area, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
If they played Auburn every week, we'd pack it out. But
Well,
other
yeah,
than
I mean,
that, then you don't.
Yeah, that's what happened.
What about you? He said Penn State. You played in the Big Ten for years. Well, I mean, first of all, how different is a game day from the Big Ten to the SEC, and like stadium-wise, just playing in front of those crowds?
Yeah, certain places are not much different at all. Like we just talked about, you got Vanderbilt where, that might be playing at like Indiana maybe. Or I mean, Indiana had way more people than Vanderbilt did, and Maryland did too. So
Until halftime, right?
the Indiana game, it was a super close game we played.
Was
there,
Penix playing?
No, he was hurt.
Okay,
And so
of course.
when I played against him, that was COVID year. That was one of my first game actions, and he was lighting us up. So I only played against him once, I think. Oh, and then I played against him at Washington, which was a cool place to play. Really cool. It's on the water.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you
yeah,
guys did
that's
play at
right,
Washington.
And that place is loud.
Yeah,
Oh, we've
I
heard.
bet, yeah.
We used to laugh about it. You guys don't remember. You're too young. But before they did that stadium, they had with the camera. You can explain it better. But when they would go nuts, the camera would shake when you're at home watching.
Yeah, so the camera was like on front of the upper deck, and big plays, the camera would just shake up and down. So
I'm
we've
not
always called it
surprised.
the shaky camera game.
Yeah, it was loud. I remember the whole week our coach was talking to us about how it's going to be a crazy environment, and we're thinking, we played at Penn State, Ohio State. Ohio State was really loud, and like Luke said, Penn State's really loud too. Not that I took it lightly, but it was like we got out there the first couple drives, and it was, you couldn't hear anything.
rocking.
So it was fun.
What's it like after a big win at Jordan Hare, like walking out to a tailgate and people are still out there partying and feeding you?
Nothing better. Nothing better. Walk by and maybe try some barbecue on the side of the street.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, get on out of here. It's hard to get out of here with all the traffic, but
That's why you just wait it out.
yeah, you usually just wait it out.
Yeah. Do you get feedback? Because I've always said Jordan Hare in a big game is worth 7 points. Do you get feedback from opponents on that? Do they ever in their honest moment say, hey, look, man, your crowd, that was tough to deal with?
Yeah, I actually I train at the same place that Carson Beck trains down in
Okay.
Jacksonville, Florida. And I asked the guy he trains with, I said, hey, when he gets here, ask him about what it was like. Because I was on the sideline, and there was a couple times in that game where I'm like, oh, my goodness, it is rocking right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder what it's like on the field trying to communicate. Because obviously when we're on offense, it's not the same at all.
Yeah.
And he told him, and then his coach told me that he said there was nothing like it. He said it was the best environment he's ever played in. So I don't know. I don't know if that's technically quoting him because he
Yeah,
didn't say that
it's
to
close
me.
enough.
But that's what I was told.
I've got a
make it-
prediction when it comes to Carson. Elijah was in here. We were talking about the draft. Next year's number one overall will be Carson Beck.
I can see that.
I mean, guys
He had a good
got
year this year.
everything.
Yeah, he had a really good year this year.
Yeah, I wanted one more stadium. Every time I watch a game in East Lansing, it's cloudy. Did the sun shine much up there?
I always tell people, and people up there will say, I swear, in the month of January, like, there is no sun.
No, there's not in
You don't
September,
see the
October,
sun.
November.
Every time, like, all right, we're in Michigan State.
It's so
cloudy.
true.
Yeah, it's-
Just a haze.
There's never a sunny game there, it doesn't seem.
Our freshman year, me and my roommate were in the dorms, and the dorm we stayed in before they switched it now was just horrendous. And we were walking outside every day, and we're like, man, this is horrible. We're like, is the sun ever going to come back? And we had, because we're from Chicago. It's not
Yeah.
quite the same.
Yeah.
It's far enough. And we looked it up, and apparently there's a stat that Lansing is the gloomiest capital
100%.
Wow.
in
Yeah.
the country.
I can totally
Very,
believe it.
very
I believe it.
believable.
Just based on college football, I believe it.
So two things. Nick Sabin, when he was at Michigan State, is it a big deal there at all? Do you like when you walk around the facility? Is there a lot of Sabin stuff? And the other thing, why the decision to go from Michigan State to Auburn? Why Auburn?
Well, first off, there's really not much.
They didn't do
Coach
anything
Saban
there,
stuff
really.
at all. You know that he coached there, and it's cool, but there's no pictures of him in the facility, nothing like that. And then my decision to come to Auburn, it was pretty easy, honestly. When I entered the portal, it was a tough decision to leave Michigan State, but it was the right decision for me. And I talked it over with the people that I trust, and that was ultimately the direction that we went in. And like an hour after I was in the portal, I was here on campus, and so I actually entered the portal on my way here. And so
That's planning.
yeah, it's planning. And so I was here for like 9 hours with my dad, and we had a great time with the coaches and got to watch a bunch of film, and that's really all I was interested in. The facility's great, and it was cool, but I just wanted to, know what the offense was, know what we were doing, and who we got, and that sold me and my dad. And a couple days later, I committed.
You guys don't have to tell us this. We know there's tampering, though. I mean, like with this transfer portal, we can't keep up with it. I know you guys can't keep up with the coaches. Roster management's a nightmare. But, I mean, how often do you have, like, other players reaching out or a coach that recruited you in high school? I mean, it's got to happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been reached out to by other players and people who have not entered the portal yet. So, of course, it's happening. And that's what's going to happen when there's no regulations out there. I mean,
Do you guys have a solution?
I think it's definitely happening. I will say, honestly, that nothing illegal happened in my situation. I didn't hear from any coach or, player ops person or whatever you call them. I guess my solution, honestly, is, and what I think is going to happen, the Big Ten and the SEC had that meeting, I guess. I don't know what was discussed necessarily, but I think it's going to become minor league football. And I think that the Big Ten and the SEC are going to get a group. I don't know what the number's going to be, but they're going to all team up, and it's going to become minor league football. Because I think the only way you can do it is, set the rules that they want, because they don't agree with anything the NCAA hardly does anyway, from what I understand. And you're going to set like a salary cap like the NFL does, and then they're going to have people that like police it, because right now people are saying, well, you just make everybody pay the same thing. And it's like, okay, well, if you have no one to regulate that, people are just going to say, okay, that's great. And then they're going to add $2 million more on the back end and do that under the table.
Well, so it's going to be like the AFC and the NFC.
And again, we're a lot older than you guys, but growing up watching the game of college football, there was something about the pride you had for a university for those 4 or 5 years. Like as players, I know you guys want money and you guys deserve it with the money that's being made right now. But isn't there something lost if we condense it to like an AFC, NFC?
Absolutely. I'm somebody who's been here for 6 years, so and those were one of that's a main reason I'm here today.
I mean, you'll die an Auburn guy.
I will. Yeah, I proposed to my wife in Jordan Hare. She's from Auburn. I love this place, and so it means something to me. And we talked about it. We've got had a bunch of leadership council meetings on like the pillars of our team and the standards that we're setting for this year and where we want to go, our vision and all that. And one of those is just like trying to find the love of your school, because that's not something that people are into nowadays. It's like I'm just here for the name on the back of the jersey, not the name on the front. So we're trying to implement that a little bit because it comes natural to some people, but for some others, they grew up. Some guys, man, they were telling me they were born in 2006. So they were little.
Does that math work? I guess it does.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay, so these guys have been young this entire time, and now that they're just thrown into college football, all they know is nowadays. They've never been recruited without NIL, without the transfer portal. So we're trying to fix it as much as we can on our level, but it's.
Look, and every locker room's got cancers. I mean, if you guys have a guy that doesn't buy in, if it's all about him and NIL, I mean, do you find ways to cut those guys loose?
Yeah, I mean, we have
absolutely
an enrichment process in place.
You ever seen Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah.
Just a thought.
I thought he was going to call it Code Red from A Few Good Men.
Or Code Red. I mean, it's kind of similar.
So Payton Thorne, Luke Dale with us. You change offensive coordinators. Coach Freeze says he's going to take over more of the play calling. Practically, how have you seen that be different in spring football, if at all?
Man, it's been a ton different.
Really?
Yeah, it's been awesome. With the addition of Coach Nix, and obviously we have other new coaches as well. Everything that Coach Nix is preaching right now to our offense is, I'm fully behind. And, I've heard these things before, whether it be, like you guys were talking about earlier from my family growing up in the football area, or, some of the stuff that I really agreed with at the last place I was at that I thought, helped us along the way. I'm hearing a lot of those things, and then obviously other new things that Coach Nix is bringing. I just really think that he's putting us in the right direction, and like you said, with Coach Freeze taking over more responsibility, obviously he's putting us in a good direction too, and just the detail is huge.
That's the word.
Yeah,
that's the word,
right.
Details.
We had no detail last year, and that's just being frank. And this year, that's really being emphasized, and I think guys are really latching onto that, and I know that's something me and Luke both believe in strongly, and it's taking effect, and you can see it on the field.
Not just, and I wouldn't say just like mentioning the details or talking to us about details, like, hey guys, the details are important. Coach Nix is super passionate about the details. Like his just the way he walks into a room talking about the details and how passionate he is about those things and how he will not let those slide. there's a lot of accountability on offense that I feel like we lacked last year, and he's doing a really good job with it.
Hey, one more Michigan State question. Does Mel Tucker tied to you and Kenneth Walker?
Tithe.
Is he what?
Does he?
Oh.
Does he tie?
He got a $95 million contract for one good year.
Oh, man. Yeah, we had a lot of – obviously, Ken, is an incredible player. Just speechless sometimes.
Yeah.
Left you speechless
Yeah.
sometimes. I'm just sitting there like, holy cow. But,
You don't have to answer that.
Yeah,
You
Don't have to answer it.
A lot of great
That was a
players.
special year for you guys, though, man. And I honestly, I doubted you, and I was like, this thing's got to turn around. And boy, you guys were good that year.
It was a fun year. A lot of good memories that year.
Do y'all have personal goals for this year? Like I've always said, Hugh Freeze, when he was hired, I think he's an outstanding coach, and I think there's such a jump. And we're going to talk to him about this in a little bit, from year 1 to year 2. And I know you guys are expecting something like that, but what are the goals?
Yeah, so in the offseason, we've kind of the main goal for us as leaders was to have something on paper for our team to look back on, have a vision that our team can work through each and every day. Because I feel like last year we knew what the standard was, us as leaders, but we didn't uphold it. We didn't hold each other accountable, hold the young guys accountable, bring them up. But for us as leaders right now, our main goal is to get everybody bought in. You talked about some of those guys that aren't bought in. We want 100% buy-in. Now, are you ever going to get that? Probably not, but that's our goal. But in terms of wins, losses, we want to make the playoff. I mean, you talked about it with Elijah on the last set. I mean,
Dude, if TCU can play for it 2 years ago, why can't you guys?
no doubt. And the way we're looking right now in spring, I mean, there are some really encouraging things. I know offensively we've got some encouraging stuff on film, but defense is really coming with some encouraging stuff too. So I think our ceiling's very high, and that's what we've been talking about all offseason. If you want to say something else on that.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
You're going to let him talk about it. He didn't have to answer the other one.
Yeah, no. He can talk on this one. He took a break. He took a break on the tithing question.
Yeah.
Mel Tucker's in a resort right now. He's got a umbrella drink.
All right. Your thoughts on the one Luke said you could answer.
Everything that Luke said, I agree with. And it's interesting you said TCU. Actually, my roommate, Sam Jackson, one of our new receivers, he was at TCU when they made that run. And at the end of January, he's like, I'm telling you, he's like, I was there for it, and nobody expected anything from us. And he said, I swear to you, it feels the exact same right now. He said, I'm seeing things that are the exact same. And it's March, or no, it's April now. But so we still got a ways to go. But for me personally too, I heard you guys talking earlier. 10 wins in the SEC. I also believe that'll get you in the playoff.
No doubt.
Yep.
And our goal is to win all 12. But if you win 10, I think you're in the playoff. And I won 10, or I won 11 and 21 at Michigan State. And I'm also seeing similarities. That year was year 2 of a new coaching staff. This year it's year 2. We got some new players through the portal and freshmen as well. And we got some playmakers, and like Luke said, on offense, you're seeing stuff come together. And I think that, if we have the right vision and, like Luke said, we hold each other accountable to the standard that we've set, and go through our process, this is a fun place to play.
That's
and
the thing.
It's a tough place to come and play. And so, I think that that is our goal.
As the media, man, we're always wrong. Like South Carolina was picked 14th in the league in basketball. And they were in the tournament this year. And nobody saw TCU. Nobody saw your 11-win Michigan State. And we, behind the scenes, we only see what's on paper. We don't see what you guys have in that locker room and how it all comes together.
Right. And not only, like Payton was talking about, the playmakers that we have. I mean, we've got – it's definitely different this year to see it. It's not the same offense. It's not the same defense. It's just a lot more dynamic. So when we get, like you said, in the locker room and start changing the culture for the better and driving it and doing the things that Coach Freeze wants, what Coach Dom wants in the strength and conditioning program, if we're all on the same accord, then that's when some wins start happening.
Yep. Guys, good luck. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Payton
Thank you,
Thorne,
guys.
Luke Dill, great job. We appreciate it.